So, welcome to the first episode of Put the Phone Down, where me and Megan Unsworth, soon to be Megan Rainford, where we basically put the phones down for a couple of hours and we talk about trending topics around social media, why it's causing mental health. But yeah, we're just literally having a good chat, don't we?
Good chat, good natter.
You can find this on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. So sit back, relax, or listen, and enjoy. You've got some topics that you want to discuss, don't you?
Yeah.
So right, what's the first one that you've got?
The first thing I've noticed recently. Sorry.
Right, don't worry about it. So the first one, go on. I think I know
it's AR filters on Instagram.
Right.
Because the thing is with Instagram, and I've spoke about this in a lot of my vlogs before, it's like this perception that you've got to be perfect and people are always looking the same ways with like fillers and all these filters that they're using and the clothing that they use and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just something that, I don't know, it bothers me a little bit because it's these filters that have come out recently, and it's only been within the past few weeks, and the first time I noticed them, I thought straight away, I was like, these filters aren't good for like women or men, for anyone in general, because I think they're called like holy books or something. There's all different ones from the same kind of creator, and it's like it gives you plump lips, it like pulls your face back, so it looks like you've had surgery. And it's setting these expectations for people who are using these filters that they want to look like that. And initially I thought people were using them as a joke, so I was like, well, you know, it's kind of like people going, oh god, like look at my lips and stuff like that. But recently I've noticed that, you know what, like when influencers or like celebs or whatever do their Instagram stories and they're just talking or doing an ad or something, they're using these filters just generally.
Yeah. I've noticed so many people using them these days as well. And as soon as I saw the first like Instagram story with that filter, I thought it's just kind of promoting to get to look like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and probably would for a lot of girls who don't look like that. Well, it'll just mentally affect them, I reckon. And like you say, from what we're discussing now, it has done with you as well.
Well, exactly, because I took a picture of myself and I sent it to you, didn't I? And I was like, I looked so different. It didn't look anything like myself. Yeah, it was like the weirdest thing. And it's like, I mean, I don't want to look like that, and I don't want fillers and stuff. I'm not against them, but me personally, I don't see, for being in my mid-20s, why I'd need anything like that. I understand if people have got like really bad insecurities and they're doing it to make themselves feel like generally better, but at the moment it just seems to be like a trend.
Yeah, but what's causing them insecurities?
Well, social media. That's
exactly,
the thing.
Yeah.
Social media can be so good, but on the flip side can be so bad.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that I was reading the news yesterday and Instagram seemed to be removing these filters that are making people look like they've had surgery and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Instagram are going through like a movement at the moment, like what you said, they're removing likes.
Yeah.
In certain countries, they're trying to like make it not like how do I explain? So like you're creating more content and you're not cautious of what you're putting out there.
Yeah.
But then obviously these filters are doing the same sort of thing, where again it's like you're putting like a fake social media front on it rather than just sending a photograph of your raw self.
Exactly. Because the thing, like, you could argue, like, don't get me wrong, I use filters for some of my photos and stuff, but they're not enhancing my features, they're just putting like, I don't know, give me a bit of tan or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're enhancing my lips or they're enhancing my eyes. And everyone at some point, maybe not everyone, but most people at some point will have used filters. And it's just like when you edit photos, you're going to edit them to make them look
yeah, of course, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like I see social media like as a place to publish my art. So when I take a photograph of them in the woods, for example, if I took a photograph as it looked there and then, it looks nice, but you can enhance it to make it look nicer.
Exactly.
Like say, increase the saturation, make it pop a bit more on social media. But like for me personally, the reason why I do that is I don't use social media as like I'm scrolling through willy-nilly. I kind of see it as an opportunity to promote business. I use it as I don't know, I think I use social media to my advantage where a lot of people use it to their disadvantage.
Yeah. And that is the issue. It's that people use it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And like for me, I think at one point in my life, I was following all these influencers and stuff like that, and I was thinking, God, like, I wish I could like have my makeup done like that and buy all these fancy clothes.
Yeah.
And at one point, I was thinking about getting fillers, but it's like I look at it now and I think, no, like that is not what I want to take from social media. Some people might want to, but like me personally, I don't want to take that. I want to look at it in a different way, and I want things to empower me rather than look at it and just feel completely disheartened by what I'm looking at, and making myself feel really conscious of what I'm looking at. And that is the issue with these filters, and I'm glad Instagram is actually doing something about them, because it can really lead to mental health
I think,
issues.
like you say, there's nothing wrong with having lip fillers and all this sort of stuff.
Not.
End of the day, it's your body, your life, you do whatever you want.
Exactly.
But again, it's like it does affect certain people
Of
more
course it
than
does.
Instagram probably realises.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good move that they're removing it personally.
Do. Well, I was on Instagram today, and I was reading through someone's story, and she'd done one of these question things where she said, what do people think about it?
Yeah.
And there was like totally mixed opinions, which there's going to be. And she was basically saying, like, how far is there a limit then to how far Instagram goes to remove filters and stuff like that? But the whole argument is, it's not you. That picture is not you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like Instagram stories and filters that look, like I said, funny and stuff like that. People are gaining value from it.
Yeah.
But again, if you're getting Instagram filters that when people publicise it, it kind of disheartens you a bit. It's not the right image I don't think it's the right image that Instagram should portray, really. There
was one that like really stuck out to me, and someone had commented basically saying that their niece or whoever had said that, this is really drastic, but had said that they wanted to kill themselves because they didn't look like that filter.
Jesus.
Yeah. That is how far.
Is that the reason why they've removed it then? Is that what?
I'm guessing so. I mean, I read a news report yesterday it was basically saying that the more vulnerable, naive people who use social media will see that, and that will cause them mental health issues, because they're thinking, that's what I want to look like. And I know not everyone uses it in that way, but it's the scary thing of most girls will, or not just girls.
I think I'd love to do you to do a podcast with a girl who is affected by this sort of stuff. Because I bet there's a lot of girls out there that kind of are affected by it, but don't really tell the mates about it. Because the thing is with these phones, is as good as they are, recently there seems to be a lot more people talking about mental health, this sort of stuff. And is this the reason why? Is it social media that's causing that? But I mean, I use my phone for a positive way. I use it for business. Like, so catching up with emails, if I ever need to do anything online with my servers or anything like that. I've got a portable computer in my pocket, where I think a lot of people really need to switch the mentality from using it as like a consumer using it as a consumer and turning it into a positive rather than negative.
Definitely. But it's like the same it is how you use social media and gaining value from it. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I don't use my social media like as everything is like to do with work and stuff like that. Like, I can sit on Facebook at night and I can scroll through memes for an hour, like non-stop. And that's what I want to do with my social media. And I follow influencers, I follow wedding accounts, I follow dog and cat accounts, because obviously I'm obsessed with dogs. But it's one of them things, like, I just feel like what you're following shouldn't be making you feel self-conscious.
Yeah, of course.
And I think if you're following someone or something that is making you feel bad about yourself, stop following them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, because I know people who have come to an extent where, like, they've messaged me and they've said, I've took myself off social media because right now I'm feeling that conscious. I don't want to see these things. And it's like, that's not how people should be feeling when they go on it. People should be empowered by social media. It's a great tool. You can connect with people. You can market your business with social media. It's just these downfalls that it has but I think Instagram, Facebook, things like that are getting better at removing stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
realising how it can affect people.
Like I say, it's just a cultural thing as well. Like you
Yeah.
said, like with all the influencers that are out there and stuff like that. Like, for example, you follow so many different influencers.
Yeah.
Where I don't think I follow hardly any. It's all like business accounts. Again, I follow YouTubers and other photographers, but they're still within my like hobbies and interests.
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than just, well, look at their life, it looks amazing. It's
Yeah.
more, oh, look at their life. How can I gain value from their content?
Exactly, yeah.
So again, it's just, I think a lot of these influencers these days, they just promote how nice their life looks rather than giving value to their audience.
Definitely. And I think, because like, I always see it from my point of view as a woman.
Yeah.
And obviously it affects men as well, but there will be a high percentage of women who it affects more.
Yeah.
But it's like, from your point of view, when you've seen any like stuff like that on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, have you ever felt like disheartened by anything, or have you never really experienced that?
Never.
That's the thing with
No,
you. Like
yeah.
with people, some people it's so different. They never.
Yeah.
Experience
I might be
it
wrong,
like
but I think women are probably affected by it more than men. I might be
that.
wrong.
I think so.
You probably do get some guys. I'm just talking from me
Yeah.
personally. Like if I see someone with an amazing life, I don't get jealous. I kind of look at it and think, amazing, they're doing great. Like,
yeah,
and
there's
then-
something to aspire to.
yeah, of course, yeah. Again, always turning it into a positive because I
Yeah.
think that's what a lot of people need to do these days with social media. And yeah, like no, I completely agree with what you and Facebook are going on about.
Yeah.
There's another one that you mentioned about these diet teas that are going on about.
Yeah, so this is all linked to it.
Yeah.
So it all interlinks in some way because I follow quite a few people, and to be fair,
Mhm.
like I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I shouldn't really follow them, but I do because it just surprises me every time I see what these influencers, these like TV reality stars, what they're advertising, because they'll go from something like climate change to diet teas, and it's
Yeah.
like they will literally, I'm not saying this is every influencer or whatever, it's select people
It's
who
following
will,
trends, in it. Like
Yeah.
if there's a certain trend, like oh, follow this diet plan,
yeah,
you grow. I don't know.
and all they want to do is make money.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. And there's a few who, again, I know it's a while back, they were selling like diet teas, so like Boom Bod,
Yeah,
diet supplements like gummy bears, all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And that is
gummy bears. What it was like?
like gummy bears, saying that you're going to lose weight from like eating these
What?
little gummy bears.
What if you have one of them a day, you'll lose weight?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I
It's-
mean, I'm not a nutritionist by any means, but end of the day, that's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it
But
is.
people do pay the money for it, don't they?
And that's the
It's
thing.
like Herbalife, which is, again, like, for me, really, I don't know much about it, but it's obviously whatever they're selling is just complete nonsense. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Because the way they sell it as well is that if you drink this tea for 3 weeks, you're going to lose weight. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, because you need to eat well and exercise to lose weight.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's losing weight. Fair enough. They might be losing water weight, but you're not losing fat.
No, of
Yeah.
course you're not. You're drinking tea.
Maybe
That's what
shave
you're
your head,
doing.
you're going to lose weight. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
It's just ridiculous. But in the same light as these AR filters, Instagram are removing this kind of stuff.
Oh right, so they're removing
So
that
they're
as well.
removing that as
Bloody
well.
hell.
Because they're cracking down on stuff like this. Because again, they're realising that people being sold these things, and it's going to affect you. If you don't lose weight with these teas, if you're naive and vulnerable,
Yeah.
and if you genuinely believe that you're going to buy these teas, that these influencers have advertised and said that they've worked for them or whatever, that once you buy them and you start doing that cycle of these boom bods or whatever, that you're going to lose weight. And
Yeah.
if you don't, oh my God, there must be something wrong with me.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
why
And,
can't I just look like them?
yeah, and then that just reverts. You're like using that as like a get out of jail card of like using these Herbalife or these boom bod things
Yeah.
to make yourself feel good.
Yeah.
But when they don't work, you're instantly going back to
course
I feel
you
shit
are.
about myself again.
You're gonna revert back harder as well, because it's gonna make you feel worse, much more worse about
Yeah,
yourself.
of course. Yeah, massively.
But like I saw a nutritionist post on Facebook about it the other day, because there's been a few, I say like TV realities, I don't even think they're on TV anymore, but their own posts have been removed from Facebook.
Right.
From Instagram, sorry.
Right.
So Instagram have actually gone onto their accounts and removed them posts. So not just like taking Boombod off Instagram or whatever. Because I don't know. They might still be on Instagram. I'm not sure. But they're actually pulling these posts down because you shouldn't be posting them anymore. But it's a good move because it's the same thing as these filters. Like the owners of these social media platforms, they need to realise what it's like in today's digital world.
Yeah.
And I think a while ago, like this never really came up, and I don't think people were as affected by it. But the more we've got influencers and the more we've got people promoting stuff like that, it just takes over your social feeds. What's
your view on like influencers? Do you feel like you've ever been influenced by? Because I think you have been.
I think
people don't like to admit that they've been influenced by influencers.
I always say I've not, but I have been, and I do stop and I look at things and I think, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then, for example, if I'm like looking at a clothes company and they're like, oh, you know, we can get a mystery bag for £5, and I'm like, yes, I want that.
Because the thing is with influencer marketing, I actually think there is value in it. I think it's like when I ask people about influencer marketing and they don't understand it, I normally explain it like this. I say, if you was in school and you went into school and you had 2 straps on your bag, and you're walking down the street or walking into school, and then all the popular kids are wearing 1 strap, you'll instantly go, oh shit, I need to change the 1 strap, because it's not like bloody hell, they've influenced me to go onto 1 strap. It's kind of just a thing that you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening with these social media influencers these days, is when they call themselves influencers, they're kind of setting up a little bit of a barrier, and people think, oh, they're influencers. So because they don't want to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
Where I think, like subconsciously, it's actually you are being influenced by these people, because there's like all these different trends that come about. There's a reason why they're trends, because these people with audiences, they're not seeing the start in these trends, but they're obviously making an impact on other people's lives. And I think some influencers really need to kind of think about what they're promoting, because
exactly, that's the thing.
Because although people say, oh, they're not influencing me, you are always a bit curious to what it is they're promoting and getting involved with that service or product.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like I do follow a lot of influencers, and you know, I look at the clothes they're wearing and stuff, and I do think to myself, if I weren't skint, which I am most of the time, I do think like, I'd like to have that outfit and stuff like that. The only thing that bugs me a bit is right now we live in a very materialistic world.
Oh, massively, yeah.
Everything is branded. Everything's Balenciaga, Off-White, all this kind of stuff, and I just think, like, for me personally, and you, we're both the same, we're not materialistic people. Like, I will go and do a shop in Primark and I'll find some nice clothes and I'll be happy with that.
Bloody hell, my Converse was falling to bits before, and I got my mum's hot glue gun and started gluing them together because the tongue at the bottom was coming apart. Like, for me, as long as they're shoes, then they look like shoes and they're comfortable and they keep your feet dry, most importantly. That's why I had to glue them. Yeah. But again, like, for me, I'm just not materialistic. It just does not bother me. I'd rather spend my money on camera equipment. Some people might say that's materialistic, but that's my hobby. Like, I'm into that. Yeah,
and it's your job as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's your business. So I just think, like I love social media, and I will spend a lot of time on social media. But there are some downsides to it.
Yeah, massively.
But there's some massive, like, benefits
I think the positives massively outweigh the negatives.
Yeah, I do.
But people always jump to the negatives of things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so if there's something, like, for example, social media, they're always banging about the negatives but never about the positives.
I know.
So, like, the media only promote the negative sides of social media, where really there's Facebook and Instagram hold so much data that you should be using that to your advantage, whether it's in business or, again, if you've got a hobby, let's say it's fishing or whatever it is, ballet, whatever it is you're into, use these social media platforms to gain knowledge from it, rather than just looking at them and going, oh, look at her, she's doing really well.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know, like doubting yourself. Take it as a positive and learn from these bigger influencers or these big characters that you follow on social media, and turning it into a positive.
Yeah, definitely. It's what you should aspire to be.
Massively, yeah.
You should be getting value out of it. You shouldn't be feeling like rubbish when you're on
Yeah.
social media.
I think everyone these days always jumps to the negatives rather
Yeah.
than positives, and I don't know what needs to happen to change that.
I know. But to be fair, like when I'm, because I started that off fairly negatively,
Yeah.
talking about social media with the filters and diet teas and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But on the flip side of that, you see so many people promoting good stuff these days.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people now, they've come to realise that actually it is really important what I'm promoting. And there's a lot of people promoting about mental health and stuff like that, and agreeing with these filters coming
Yeah.
off Instagram and
Well,
stuff.
it's like the Meal Prep King. You're probably watching this. I want to get him on the podcast at some point, but like what he's promoting, like his story. I don't know what weight he was, but he was overweight a few years back. Him
Yeah.
and his girlfriend, and they've both been on this journey together where they've lost weight. Like I said, doing meal preps, he's smashing it at the moment. His social media pages are taking off. But again, he's sharing knowledge to people. He give away a free ebook.
Yeah.
I can bang it in the link below if needs be. But again, like he's giving away free knowledge,
Yeah.
and people appreciate that, and it's always positive what he's putting out
Yeah.
there. And I think a lot more influencers need to give out this positive message, but not just do it to make themselves look good. Actually, be positive and give people value,
Yeah.
rather than just doing it for their own benefit.
Yeah. It's with like, because like I said before, I do take it from like a very female point of view, because this is just what I experience on social media. But it's like I follow people now who are all about body confidence and mental health and tackling these issues, and they are so careful on what they promote, and I think that is such a good thing, and they get so much praise for doing it, and they should get that praise for doing it, because
definitely.
they're sharing a really good message.
Definitely.
And in the past year, I've changed the way I look at social media, and I follow the people who I want to follow, and I can't remember the last time I looked at something and actually felt bad about myself. Because I've got to the point now where I actually don't care. Like, I'm confident in my own
at the end of the
body.
day, you're happy.
Exactly.
Like, you've got a loving man friend, which is me. But again, it's like, at the end of the day, why care about what other people think? Just do
Exactly.
your own thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's the message that I want to get across with this podcast is it's us putting the phone down for an hour or so,
Yeah.
completely cutting social media off and having a conversation where we talk about these issues, because there's probably people in relationships that, I don't know, the girl's probably feeling like self-conscious about herself, but whether they'll be in the living room scrolling through Facebook, and people just need to put the phone down for an hour and just have a
chat.
conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
We always have these conversations, and we kept saying we should put this into a podcast,
Yeah.
because once me and you start talking, we can go on for hours.
Yeah.
And I think people get a value from this.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it might encourage people to, like I said, put the phone down and just have a chat,
Just chat.
with
yeah.
either the parents or boyfriend or whatever
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, speaking of social media, you mentioned here about TikTok.
Yes.
What's your views on TikTok?
It's weird with TikTok because I've got it.
Yeah,
I've just never used it.
right.
But the reason I was thinking about it recently, you've probably not seen it, but there's this meme about Kylie Jenner going round.
Right,
She sang Rise and Shine to her baby,
right,
right? And that's turned into a meme.
right.
And on TikTok, it's got 1 billion views on
Jesus
TikTok.
Christ. Well, that's the thing. I've been watching your nephews on TikTok.
Yeah.
All the young ones have got TikTok
Yeah.
at the moment. I personally think, like, when I click onto TikTok, the videos that are on there, the content on there, it's like, this is absolute shocking.
Yeah.
But I've not neglected it. I've got my own TikTok account. I've started
Yeah.
adding videos on there, not publishing it as much as I want to.
No.
But the thing is, with TikTok and all these other social media platforms, Facebook was a young platform at one time. Then it started aging up. Everyone's mum and dads started going on there.
Yeah.
Everyone's grandmas are on there. So like all the young kids move on to the next platform
Exactly.
because it's not cool anymore.
Yeah.
Then they went on to Instagram. The same thing happened there. And like you said, now everyone's mums and dads are on it. So they moved to something else.
Yeah.
So is TikTok going down the same route as what the other platforms are doing?
Well, that's the thing. It is very much a younger generation at the moment, but it is kind of moving towards that. It's starting to grow.
Yeah.
As you can tell, like there will be so many people on it. The fact that a meme of Kylie Jenner singing Rise and Shine, which shouldn't have got that much like activity,
Yeah.
is absolutely, it's in its billions.
It's crazy. And what I noticed when I was watching your nephews, their attention on it was complete. Like for me on social media, I'm scrolling through so fast.
Yeah.
I'll see a video, right? Why has that caught my attention? And I'll watch that video and say, right, why has that caught my attention rather than this video?
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at social media. But with TikTok, I was watching your nephews, and I was looking at him and like, oh, bloody hell, he's watching every video from start to end.
Well, yeah.
Where I'm watching 3 seconds and going to the next one. His attention on the app was crazy, and I've never seen that before. And I think that's just a new generation that's coming through.
I think so, yeah.
And they're always watching YouTube. I think TV's probably going to be non-existent in a couple of years because everyone's used to having like this in the pocket, where if they want to watch something, they're streaming it straight away to the phone.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, TikTok. I think if there's a time to get on it, I think now is the time.
No, yeah. Well, it's people like Gary Vee. He's on it now.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And
he bangs on it all the time.
Yeah.
But people will go onto it and they'll, because you will open TikTok and you'll go, what the hell is this video?
Yeah, you get notifications.
Yeah, I mean, the notifications you get through, you think, and you open it and it's some weirdo and you think this is just shocking.
Yeah.
But you can't use that as like, you can't use that as an excuse not to use it.
No, of course not. Because if it's going to go big, you may as well get in it before it starts getting bigger. Because you're already on there
exactly.
And you've already got content for people to watch.
And the main thing is it's free as well, because like you say, we'll film this podcast and we'll probably chop it up and put it on all the different platforms because it's they're free to use.
Yeah.
So you never know, like the audience on TikTok might get more value from this than the audience on Instagram because it's a different audience, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think TikTok is looking like it will be the next big thing just because everyone's going on about it, and the main thing is all the young ones are on it.
Yeah.
Then the mum and dad think, oh, it's cool to have me on TikTok. Well, I'm doing it with your nephews. I'm like, oh, have you got me on TikTok? And like having a joke about it. But that's how it starts, and then it starts progressing, and then they'll move on to the next thing. And the people who stay with Facebook and all these old like Twitter, I never use Twitter anymore.
I actually know a lot of people who do use Twitter, but I don't.
Yeah,
and everyone always says to me, they're like, I'll get on Twitter, and
it's the same. They'll stick with Twitter until it dies out, rather than riding the wave onto these different platforms. Because like LinkedIn at the moment, they've taken a different approach in terms of the people are posting a lot more personal stuff rather than just business related. Even like engagement rates are a lot higher on LinkedIn. Facebook and Instagram, like organic reach is pretty much dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll put something on Instagram and it'll get 5 likes because they're trying to push you to pay to get these ads because they've built their audience now. They've got the name.
Yeah.
Like I'd post the same photograph, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I'd get 50 to 100 likes. I post it now, it's getting 5. It's a way of changing the algorithm because I need to go. Then I'll be like, right, well, I need to pay money to get that same reach.
Yeah, definitely.
But for me, with how much business we've got coming on at the moment, we don't need to do that. It's just kind of keeping it alive, keeping things posted on social media. But I think TikTok and LinkedIn are the ones I'd be watching.
Yeah.
Again, there's apps where you can publish a photograph and it'll distribute it to all the social media platforms. But people aren't educated with all that sort of stuff, and they just stick with their own. Because they've got 1,000 followers on Facebook, they'll just use Facebook.
Yeah.
There's all these other different platforms that are raring to grow, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Put the Phone Down. I think we went through some really decent topics.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you'll probably get a lot of value from it. But you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, is it called, I think? And YouTube. So yeah, subscribe. Make sure you tune in. We're going to be doing these weekly. Yeah. Keeping up with trending topics. So yeah, well done, Meg. First podcast.
Done.
Absolutely smashed it.
Done and done. Ooh.